Folks, it is the Remodelers on the Rise show. It is the first show in a freshly minted new year, 2023. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everybody. Is it Happy New Year's? Is it Happy New Year? I don't know. We're already starting the show with questions and things unanswered. I think either way will work, though. Hope you had a wonderful Christmas and New Year time of the year. I would say last night when I was getting ready to get back engaged in work, a little bit of me was kind of like, do I want to get back to it? Oh, there was those other things I wanted to get done in this downtime, or I wish we would have done one more family thing, but it is what it is. It is what it is. It's time to get saddled back up and get back to work. If you are like me, health goals are on your radar. I may have gone and worked out this morning and it hurt. I strained my body, but I feel great afterwards. So reset goals. Think about what you're going to accomplish this year. If you don't do it right now when it's fresh, you will not make as much progress as you could this year. Go out there and set some goals. Put it down in writing. What are things going to be like on December 31st, 2023 for you? What will be different? Or are you going to be in the same stinking position, same stress, same financial concerns, same leadership challenges, same knucklehead sub or employee that you're dealing with? You're just going to keep kicking down the road. Or are you going to take the bull by the horns and really implement and do things this year to really move the ball forward? I know I will be in this seat right here, sometimes standing up. I do have a stand-up, sit-down desk, but I will be in the seat encouraging you. You keep following this podcast. You get in Remodelers Community. I will do my best to keep encouraging and poking and prodding. As I was working out this morning, I thought about my schedule and I was like, we've got the live show on here. And I was thinking about what topics to address. Ooh, we got a topic here. Karen says, take the bull by the horns. Take the bull by the horns. I mean, is that literally, where does that analogy come from? Like you're riding the bull and you just grab a hold of it and ride it? I don't know where that came from, but it sounds about right. But as I was thinking about this, I thought, over the last 7 to 10 days, the Remodelers community has been full of all kinds of good topics. So what we got here is a nice organized list of topics, and I'm just going to go one by one through it and do a little riff on each, share my thoughts on each. We've got that little chime noise, which means we're going to go from one topic to another. And I would welcome, for those of you watching live, for you to add your own comments in there. Also, if you're watching this live, type in the comments, what was the most enjoyable thing you did over the holidays? I'd love to hear that. All right. Let's get into it. So here's one that somebody posted. Houston Trim the third, not the second, not the first. Houston Trim the third. Hello, my friend. He wrote, fellow remodelers, are you guys and gals members of your local home builders association? Does anyone hold a position in their chapter? I had a lot of different comments related to that, and this is how the show works today. I'm going to share my thoughts on it. Here's what I've learned in the 15 plus years that I have been coaching remodelers and watching the careers of my remodelers that I've worked with closely, watching how they have interacted with their home builder associations or their NARI groups. I have found a correlation between success in business and being involved in industry groups. I have seen a correlation between those two things. It is pretty rare that I come across a remodeler who is well connected and networked in their local area, who is really after improvements and implementation and growing their business. And when you ask them, have you ever been involved in any local or national trade groups? They very rarely would say no, because there's a correlation between these two. Now, home builder associations and NARI groups, some of them are lame. Some of them don't have much pizzazz going with them. Some of them are just hanging on. Other ones have a lot of life in them. So pay attention to how your local group is doing. If you haven't attended before, go and attend a few meetings. Look at what they have education-wise, certification-wise. Look at what they're doing to promote their members. Think about the quality of people and look around and see the quality of people that are part of it. And if it is a group that is active, that is consistent, and you see a lot of potential trade partners, builders and remodelers that you respect, get involved this year. Get involved. it is going to be a worthwhile experience. Now, evaluate that. Make sure that, you're not just participating for the sake of participating. Have a plan. Figure out what you're going to participate in. If it has a good parade of remodeled homes, maybe this is the year that you go towards doing that. So that's my take, Houston, especially if you are a younger remodeler, not too connected. A home builder association or NARI group can be a great way for you to expand your network. It's a great way to find new trade partners, to learn new tips. It's interesting. I've had several clients who some of their best friends are their biggest competitors that they met through the HBAs and the NARI chapters. And if that's not your cup of tea, we've got Remodelers Community. There's mastermind groups. There's all kinds of other communities that you can be part of. Make sure that is part of your plans and your business. So that's what we're doing today, folks. Kyle's thoughts on the last 10 or so Remodelers Community topics. That was the first one from Houston. Another one. Oh, I'm the one that wrote this one. So I'm kind of like, hey, I posted this and I wanted to share a little bit more about it. So I'm just going to read it. Larry Janeski, he's going to be a guest this year on my podcast. I just tasked Bailey with making sure he becomes a guest. But I have followed his work for a long time. He's built some successful contracting related businesses, and he has this daily email that I've been a part of for a long time. Just good, pithy, short, to the point ideas. And I posted this about a week ago. I might just read it and then move on and hit the buzzer. There are many smart people out there. Hang on, let me start this. Something I read this morning from Larry Janeski. Discipline is far more rare than brilliance. Wait a minute, I thought brilliance is a rare commodity. He's saying discipline is far more rare than brilliance. You should write that down if you're listening to the recording of this or if you're in front of a piece of paper right now. Discipline is far more rare than brilliance. There are many smart people out there, but discipline rises above talent. Discipline to do what must be done when it must be done. Discipline to even things that I don't really feel like doing or that I don't like doing. Yes, those things. Discipline to do things you don't feel like doing. Discipline to learn what you must. Discipline to step outside your comfort zone and grow. Discipline to conquer our lower natures. That's interesting. Disciplined people will win in the long run. I think he's trying to drive home a point. Now, I am not somebody that's like, look, you've got to be disciplined from the moment you wake up to the moment you put your sorry little head to bed at night. There's some people that kind of roll like that. That's not realistic. It's not long-term. Also, it's not fun. But, oh, baby, from the time I start working to the time I'm done working, maybe that's 7 to 4 for you. Maybe that's 7 to 5. If it's beyond that, we got to pay attention to that, make sure we're not working too much. But the time that you are working, are you stinking working? Are you focused? Have you taken 10 minutes the night before, the 10 minutes at the end of the day before, 10 minutes in the morning to really plan out your day? Or are you just at the mercy of what's coming at you? Are you disciplined to tell your team members, hey, you can't interrupt me with every little question. Let's make sure that we contain those and just do 1 or 2 phone calls a day. I've got work that I've got to focus on, high value work that I got to focus on. Are you thinking about what your frog is, the most important thing you need to get done that you're most likely to put off? And are you stinking eating that first thing in the morning? Discipline. Discipline can be looked at as a negative word, or you can think of all the times over the years that you haven't been disciplined. It's a new year, my friends. What do you need to be more disciplined at? And how are you going to achieve that? Do you need a coach? Do you need some accountability from somebody else? Do you need to schedule it into your calendar and put it in there? What do you need to do? But there's a lot of value in that. Discipline is far more rare than brilliance. Can you be more disciplined this year than you were last year? Can I be more disciplined about focusing on the most important work, about saying no to things that I shouldn't be investing my time in making sure that I am looking my kids in the eyeballs every day and actually spending some quality time with them? 5 minutes a kid would be more than a lot of us do. Just consistently making sure you're asking them about how they're doing, engaging with them, playing a quick game of cards. I'm thinking of Calvin. He loves that. Am I going to be more disciplined on getting my butt on the ground and straining my body a little bit and doing 100 crunches each day? Am I going to be disciplined in doing what I need to do to make sure that I am eating healthy? And all those questions are for you as well. So there's another one. So we got discipline. We got Houston's. These are just 10 thoughts on the last 10 Remodelers Community topics. Hey, for all of you watching live, what are you going to be more disciplined on this upcoming year? Or is there another topic that you're thinking of? Here's a quick one. This is from your friend of mine, Audra Gossage. For those of you up north, tell me about heating a bathroom. Audra, I do believe, has some property a little further north than Florida where they reside. And she was asking a question. The reason I put this in there was simple. I just wanted to riff on this. Folks, you guys are craftspeople and you guys know a lot, but the exciting thing about business and the exciting thing about our industry is there's always more to learn. You cannot rest on your laurels. So when I saw her post that, it just reminded me, what are you going to learn this year? What is a topic that you've heard about that you're not very knowledgeable about that would be important for you to learn more about? Maybe it's a product, maybe it's a new application, maybe it's a new approach, maybe it's new software, maybe it's new sales process, maybe it's financials. Be hungry for learning. Be hungry for learning. One of the things that I have knocked out of the park on day 3 of the year is I've read more in the last 3 days than I did the previous 3 weeks. I turned to my wife the other day. I said, "Hey, I think I'm gonna buy a new Kindle. If I had a Kindle that's separate from my phone, I think I would read more." And she goes, "Honey, you already have a Kindle. It's downstairs collecting dust." And I go, "I thought that thing broke." No, it didn't break. It was just dead. It needed to be charged. I went down there. I had that thing charged up in an hour, and I've been reading on my Kindle. Got a business book, got a faith book. And what I've learned is that if you're studying, if you're reading, boy, that gets our mind going. If you're endlessly scrolling Facebook, boy, does that drag us down. So be hungry and thirsty for learning. And I suppose that also goes to the previous point of be disciplined. All right, we're just going around the horn to a couple different topics here. We have a comment too. Eating that frog first thing in the morning, to be more disciplined on that. It ain't easy, but it's doable. We control it. We can control it. Let's do it, Karen. All right, this one is from Jeff Forward. Hey, Jeff, how you doing? Jeff posted this yesterday, and he said, related to search engine optimization, SEO. I'm taking a fresh look at our SEO strategy and our current service provider. We're currently using a marketing company that outsources the SEO. We never talk directly to the SEO provider. I'm starting to see this as a major disadvantage. I find the larger we grow, the more important this topic is. However, I also feel that it is a topic that is under-discussed in the remodeling community, regardless of your company volume. Is anyone working directly with an SEO specialist? How was your experience? Is anyone doing SEO in-house, which seems crazy to me, but I'm trying to think differently about this topic. I am very open to any and all concepts. So search engine optimization. When somebody in your local trade area pulls up Google on their, most likely on their cell phone, and they type kitchen remodeling, city name, state name, do you want to show up in the organic results and in the map listings? Yes or no? The answer for all of you should be, yeah, that's valuable real estate. Those are people that have an intent to buy. This isn't some random Facebook ad that randomly shows up in their feed and hopefully maybe they're thinking about remodeling. These are people that are searching specifically for a need they have. That is valuable real estate. Now, the problem with search engine optimization is that you are getting phone calls left and right. We can get you listed #1 on Google. It is a junky industry. It is full of a bunch of spam and junk and bleh. I don't know how you spell blah, but I think you know what I mean. It's just ugh, just ugh. Yet, like Jeff is saying, this is still very important in 2023. If you search in Remodelers Community, if you click the search button and type in SEO, this one will pop up for you. If you're not part of Remodelers Community, remodelerscommunity.com, request to join. A bunch of people had some topics, some experiences listed out. And I think that would be kind of a good place to start. There was already 5 or 6 people that have shared some thoughts. There is a gentleman named Jordan Wood, W-O-O-D. He's part of the Remodelers Community. He's worked with 6, 7, 8 of my clients, and I trust him. He does good quality work, and at the very least to reach out to somebody like him or him himself and have him evaluate what your website and how your SEO is looking would be a great place to start. So there's another kind of next step related to that. But that may be part of your overall marketing plan this year. How can I, number one, what search terms do I want to be under? Number two, where am I showing up right now? And number three, how do I improve that? That is a very valuable marketing real estate. So there's a few thoughts related to Jeff's question on SEO. Wait a minute, Kyle, who's that person that you just mentioned? You guys realize Kyle at remodelersontherise.com, Bailey at remodellersontherise.com. When you're listening to a piece of content I create, listening to the podcast, looking at the post, you can direct message me. You can email me. You can email Bailey. Bailey's even a bigger shortcut. Hey, Kyle mentioned this Jordan guy. What's his contact info? Boom. You'll have it back within the day, most likely. Right? So be action takers. I got a note a couple of weeks ago, which was nice. That was basically like, Kyle, I'm responding to this. I don't know if you read all of these. Do you guys think I'm like some kind of, have millions of listeners and I'm overwhelmed with fan mail and stuff? No, I'm busy. I got a lot of managing, but hopefully you've heard in my tone and my approach and in the way that I run my business that I am approachable and that I am willing to help. So don't be shy about reaching out, especially to Bailey. I mean, she's got all kinds of links and resources. All right, so there's Jeff. Boy, this is fun so far. Kind of just some thoughts on the last 10 Remodelers Community topics. You heard a little New Year's, encouragement. Talked about some HBA stuff and discipline and learning and SEO. Let me click on this one. This was from Paul J. McManus. He's been a guest on the old podcast a few times, and he posted some pictures of some mounted zip poles, how his project manager organized one of their trailers. Did a little trailer reorganization over the break. Paul was in tears. He was so excited. I mean, he was emotional about this in a good way. He was so excited about it. And my only thought on this is I believe that every hour you spend improving the organization, the inventory management of your trucks and trailers and vehicles is time very well spent. An hour doing that is going to pay itself back in spades time and time again over the course of the year. If I look in your trailers and they are a mess, you are wasting so many precious minutes. And you need to train and teach and set a high expectation from your team that says, this is not how we roll anymore. We are going to be organized. We are going to take the extra minute to put things back where they belong. We are going to spend an afternoon here and label things and reorganize this. Every minute, every hour you spend organizing and streamlining and improving that is going to pay itself back over and over again. It's like you giving me $1, and over the course of the year, I just keep giving you dollars back. You're probably going to end up with 10 or 12 of them. Or paying me $100, and I'm just going to keep giving you $100 back every month in the time savings and the hassle savings. And I think you guys know that to be the case. So that was my riff after seeing Paul post that is look yourself in the mirror a little bit, take a look at those trailers. Don't accept, well, my team's not organized. That's a leadership problem. That's your problem. That you need to address that. You need to set higher expectations. Let's get this thing organized and check on it regularly and remind them why it's so important. Guys and gals, we want to be more efficient. We want to be more productive. One of the ways that we do that is we stay organized. That's how we roll in our company. Maybe that's a good goal for this upcoming year. That was a good topic. Derek Anderson. Hey, Derek. He wrote, dust cleaning. With Build Clean out of business, what are you guys using for dust control these days? Build Clean was the beast for several years there, and they are no longer in business. You can still sometimes get filters, but I think that's even kind of heading down a little bit. The only riff I have on this, there's some people that have commented on his post and also on others. I don't have that in front of me, but my 2 cents on this is why do we go through the effort to invest in dust cleaning? Why do we have zip walls? Why do we do these things? It is revolving around the client experience. It is revolving around enhancing our sales process and our know, like, and trust building. We know that remodeling is dusty and it is an interruption. And look at these different things that we do to make the experience less of a hassle for you, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, because we care about giving you a remarkable experience. If you have dust containment on your job sites, you should be speaking about that in every sales meeting that you have with new prospects. There should be content. Guys, I'm tired of looking at your final beautiful project, and there are some pictures of a beautiful finished kitchen. There's nothing wrong with that, but that should be like 30% of your posts. The other 70% should be showing your process. One of those being, show me all of the little things you do related to dust containment. Show me all of the little things that go into your design and development process. Show me the design. Show me your selection sheet. Show me a picture of you going to the granite shop and your client picking out stuff. Show more of the process and the behind the scenes. And part of that is how you're approaching dust containment. We're cruising right along, folks. We are cruising right along. All right, so again, Kyle's thoughts on the last 10 remodeling community topics. I'm kind of picking and choosing a little bit here. Let's go to David Krills. David Krills, here's what he said. Transitioning from solo owner-operator to team/subs. David got a lot of good pieces of feedback on this one. Here's this question. I've got a question for anyone who started out as a solo owner/operator, not a solo general contractor, but somebody that was really swinging the hammer and doing the work, and transitioned to having a team and maybe a few subs. How to go about the transition? How do we plan for it? And how do we pull it off financially? Like, how did you pay for things, paychecks and insurances, before you had the money coming in that could pay for a bigger team and such? So and then he wrote TIA, which I think means thanks in advance. I do believe thanks in advance. So he's at that stage where he has built up his business to the point where he's got a solid business going. I'm guessing he's got some good referrals coming in. I'm guessing the sales volume's getting up there into that $400,000, $500,000 range, most likely. And he's thinking to himself, all right, I'm either going to just stay right here and be happy, or I'm going to figure out how do I move to that next stage of things. And in his case, that next stage of things is getting himself away from the tools and over onto the project managing and running of the business, right? So there's a lot of different stages as we grow a remodeling business. Couple things, David, for you. One is, do not underestimate the power of an office assistant, an office helper, a little things coordinator that you can hire for 10 hours a week. 10 hours a week? Who wants to work 10 hours a week? A lot of people do. A lot of people like those little part-timey type things. And a lot of times at that stage, that's all you can afford. But if you can make a list of all of those little things that you're doing week in and week out, phone calls and follow-ups and ordering these materials and going and getting that permit and returning those materials, you think of all of those things that you do. If you had somebody for 8, 10, 12 hours a week, you just got 6, 8, 10 of your hours back. I did minus a few because you guys are so sharp and better than any employee you could ever hire, right? But 10 hours a week, that would be one thing I'd be thinking about. Now, how could I pay for that? You need to start saving for it now. You need to increase your markup. You need more gross profit coming from your projects in order to pay for that. Now, ideally, you start raising that now and you prove to yourself that you can generate that gross profit and those additional dollars to pay for overhead. Do that for 2, 3, 4 months. Move that money each month into a separate account that says, office assistant or whatever that bucket is for you. And that's how you can prove that you're going to be able to pay for it. Okay, so that's one thought. Another thought is, you said, some subs. As you're moving through this, okay, I know that you're the best tiler. You need to go out there and find a tile sub. I know you've always done drywall, David. You need to stop doing the drywall. I know painting is very important and it really enhances or de-enhances. Making up words. I'm going to keep doing that in 2023. The finished project, but there are painters out there that can do a great job. You hear what I'm saying there is, what are some of the things that you're currently doing that you can find trade partners for? But Kyle, it's so hard to find trade partners. It's easier now than it was a year ago. And also, stop making excuses and whining about it. Go out and find them. Pick up the phone and make it a priority. In the month of January, I am going to find fill in the blank trade partner. And you hyper focus on that, and you ask people that are in the know, and all of a sudden you're going to find somebody, and you're going to give them a chance on a job. And then, David, what you're going to realize is that's 80 hours of my work over the next 6 months that I no longer have to do. This is good. This is good. You can do that similarly with demo. You can start to find a trade partner that does some carpentry work, right? So most people that are making that transition, they don't go from I don't have anybody on staff to I have a full W-2 employee that I'm paying workers' comp on and that I have all these benefits on. There are part-time trade partner relationships that usually are the stepping stones to getting there. Okay. The other big thing, David, is your understanding of just the overall financials. Do you understand your P&L? Do you understand your markup and why you're charging what you're charging? Are you watching your job costing? Do you know how much gross profit you need to produce? What is your overhead this year? And projecting, if you do this and this, how much are you going to need in overhead next year? What is the profit goals you have? You really need to dig into knowing your numbers. You've heard me say that 472 times if you follow me, and any other coach and consultant in our industry are always talking about knowing your numbers. This is a great time for you and your business to really wrap your head around and lock in on knowing your numbers. Okay, so that's another biggie, and that'll really get you started. That'll really get you started. Okay, I saw some people comment of like, well, should I take a loan out? Should I do this? You don't need to. You start saving for it. Save for it for 4 months. Save for it for 6 months. Get a little separate savings account organized for whatever investment you're looking to make. Do that ideally. That's going to set you up for better success. Can you get a loan? You could. You're increasing your risk. And I'd be wanting to see your plan. I'd be wanting to see what your overall budget looks like before I would say absolutely. Okay. The other thing you have to realize is that because you've been self-performing, you're going to have a higher cost of goods sold when you have somebody else doing it. That's just the nature of the beast. And that is a good thing. And that's an exciting thing. So continue to work towards you're hearing where I'm going. Trade partners, trade partners, trade partners. The more take more of the things that you're currently doing and hand it off. That is the recipe that I've walked a bunch of your colleagues through. That's the step-by-step that should get you going. Plus, your Remodelers Community friends added a bunch of other good ideas under your post. So I've hit on a good variety of things so far. I do have to ask this question. If you're watching this live, feel free to comment. If you're listening to the recording of this, you need to pause it and you need to think about what is one area that Kyle just talked about. He's mentioned about 12 different ideas, 12 different topics. I like doing these shows. It's kind of fun to bounce around to a bunch of different topics, mostly because I know there's going to be something in here for everybody. But if you were to pause here and say, all right, what is one thing that I should focus in on and take action on? Can you identify that? You should pause this and think about that. You should get out a piece of paper. You should get out your notes. You should get out your sticky note, and you should write that down, and you should get really clear on what is the next right thing I need to do related to fill in the blank. And you need to give yourself a deadline on when you're going to get it done. And you need to stink and be disciplined and make it happen. Right? There's not some magic fairy that is going to float into your office and fix all of your deficiencies in your business and things you need to get done and implement. There are some wonderful templates, wonderful tools, people that are willing to get on the phone with you. There are shortcuts of getting coaching that can really speed up a process. But at the end of the day, you've got to do things differently and implement new things if you're going to grow. And you are fully capable of doing that. So that's how I'm going to end today's show, is just trying to get you focused on what is the thing that you're going to implement and what is the next right thing that you're going to do related to that. And you got to buckle down and get that done. Somebody just said awesome. Hopefully that was Dave listening to that. Cool. So this is the first of many podcasts from the Remodelers on the Rise podcast this year. I'm excited for the new year. Excited for you guys listening. Appreciate you guys listening. Reach out anytime. And we got somebody posting here. I'm in the same position of making the transition to from operator to owner. All of what was said there hit home for me. an office assistant, more subs, more subs, more subs. And hopefully I was a little nasty there for whoever that was listening to that. I was a little nasty there of like, but Kyle, it's so hard to find subs. Okay, then go and whine and be in the same position for the next 6 months. And I could line up for you that guy, that gal, that person, that person, that person, who it's taken a lot of work. It's taken a lot of work to get new trades and new names, but they stayed focused on it. They tried people out. They found a great one. They tried somebody else out. They didn't live up to expectations. They moved on to the next. They talked to their trade partners. They talked to their colleagues. They talked to their lumber supply person. And again, it is much easier now than it was a year ago because people are slowing down a little bit. They're realizing that maybe I should respond to that remodeler who reached out asking if we do help with electrical work or plumbing work, or if we're taking on some new clients like that. So break that, if that's where you're at, break that down into tinier spots. If you are a solo operator, you need to realize there's responsibilities that are on your shoulders that you need to take off your shoulders and put on somebody else's, whether that is an office assistant, whether that is a virtual assistant, whether that is a trade partner. More needs to come off your shoulders and put on somebody else. If you look at a remodeler that you respect, how did that person grow their business like this? How do they have a showroom? How do they have this team? They took piece by piece responsibilities off their shoulder and handed it off to a capable team around them. That's the recipe. And it just starts with one piece at a time. And all of a sudden you start looking up and you're going, I'm much further ahead than I was 6 months ago. Cool. That was fun. Hope you had a enjoyable time listening to this. Happy New Year. Reach out anytime. Be well. Kick some butt. See you.